This week on You Should Be Watching, we talk about how Nicolas Cage will play Joe Exotic in a new TV series. We also react to the cast of Twilight Zone Season 2, and we list the best episodes and our favorite cameos from The X-Files. That's all this week on You Should Be Watching. Hey guys, and welcome to another episode of You Should Be Watching. Joining me this week, we've got Greg and Meg, and that rhymes. You guys are back. Thank you for joining me today.
No problem.
So we're going to be talking about the X-Files a little bit later, so hold on to that. Mm-hmm. But, of course, we want to catch up first and find out what you're watching this week. So, Meg, what are you watching?
Oh boy, so I spent my entire weekend watching The Untamed, which is a Chinese drama that is on Netflix currently. It is 50-hour-long episodes long.
Oh my God.
It was like just insane. It was so good and has now consumed my entire life. Like, it's all I want to think about and all I want to talk about, but it's so dense and like challenging, and it's a totally different genre than I've ever like encountered, and I would super recommend it, but it's also work to get through, so prepare yourself.
So one season of a show has 50 episodes,
yes,
and they're all an hour long. That
yes.
is crazy. I'm wondering how often these were released in China.
I don't know. It was a web drama
bi-weekly
too. Yeah. So like it was released online, and so like you can also watch it on YouTube, and I guess the subtitles are a little bad and confusing on both versions. Like the Netflix version has different subs than the YouTube version, so like both of them weren't great, but like if you want to like supplement one viewing with the other to like kind of make it make more sense, but it's work, but it pays off. It 100% pays off.
So it sounds like an undertaking, but let's dig into why people should watch this show. Could you tell us a little bit about what the show is about?
It's kind of okay, so it's basically like a Chinese historical fantasy drama, I guess. It's kind of like the best way to put it. So it's set like historical, but like there's like magic. So it's got that like sort of like Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon kind of like, flying, and everyone can like use kind of magic powers a little bit, but it's still sort of grounded. Like there's not like orcs running around or anything.
Is it present day? Is it present
No,
day?
It's historical. Cool. But it's really it's about like these they're called cultivators. They basically like are people who are practicing like spiritual enlightenment to the point where they can like become immortal. And so there's like sects of them, like basically like all throughout China. And it's kind of like Avatar and Game of Thrones in the sense that they're like families like who are practicing like different beliefs. And so it's like a war between these like different cultivator sects. And there's like the main character is kind of like a witcher, I guess. Like they run around and like exorcise ghosts. It's basically like it's got the like charm and kind of low budget, like I don't know, like camp to it of like a Xena or like a Hercules type situation, but then it's also like just very, very charming. And so it's all about these two cultivators who are from like diametrically opposed worldviews meeting and falling in love and like fighting evil together, and it's the best.
Also, so it stars two members of two different boy bands, is that correct?
Yes. So
and that's why it was very popular.
Yeah,
overseas.
so like the main guys are one of them was in a C-pop group and one of them was in like a K-pop C-pop crossover group. And they're both just very, very cute and charming. So, like, the entire cast is insanely cute and charming. So
this sounds right up my alley.
Yeah.
I heard that it was like a hit in China, but also like slightly controversial because probably because of boy love, right?
Yes.
But I am on board.
Oh, it's so
for sure.
It's so good. I would definitely recommend it. It's just you're gonna be very confused for about 10 episodes, and then you'll start catching on. Like, okay, I get it.
How far in are you?
I finished it. I watched the whole thing.
What? How?
It was
all right.
I did nothing
in how
else.
much time?
Like 5 days.
Wow. That's like an average of 10 episodes a day.
Yeah.
That is crazy.
It was insane. I had a friend, like my friend who is Chinese, like literally watching with me and like live translating. So like she would be like, this isn't the nuance of this phrase. Like they mistranslated this. This is why this is important. It was really nice. Like, so that also helped like me be able to like power through, because I think in another context I would have had to stop and be like, I need to go Wikipedia all of this. I have no idea what just happened. But yeah, that helps.
That definitely helps for sure. All right, Greg, what are you watching?
Well, I'm doing the exact opposite and watching shorter projects, especially South by Southwest. They released their whole film collection. At least you can watch these shorts and a few films online right now. I haven't gotten to those just yet, but I'm just going through all the shorts so I can just give some support to the filmmakers out there who there's nowhere to show their films at the moment, except you can watch them right now on Amazon Prime.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Are they all on Amazon Prime right now?
Not all, not everything, but I think it's a good collection they have so far. There are some good ones in there. There's one.
What should people start with?
Well, okay, so I look at the descriptions before you watch it. I would recommend that. There's a little bit of a trigger warning because these are short films. They're high impact short films that need to grab your attention quickly with some of the subject matter, so you might need to be prepared for it. With that said, there are some gorgeous short films on there, and I'm really, really sad that a lot of people won't be able to see them, at least at the festival circuit. But again, watch them if you can. There's one titled Single, which is about a girl who's got one arm, and she goes on a blind date with a guy who's got one hand. It's pretty damn good. But that's as far as I've gotten into that. There's some other ones on there too, but again, just read the description before you get into it. There's no bad ones that when it comes to like all the typical stuff you would see in a short film where the first few frames someone's smoking a cigarette or got a gun or a knife, like any film noir. But other than that, I'm digging it.
Nice.
Awesome.
Cool. I finished Little Fires Everywhere. I was halfway through last week when I talked about it on the podcast, but I just wanted to bring it back because I finished the whole thing, and I think it's only a one and done. It's a limited series on Hulu, and it's got Kerry Washington and Reese Witherspoon, and it's just like an acting battle.
Isn't Joshua Jackson?
Joshua Jackson's
really good.
in
And
that
Joshua
too.
Jackson,
and also Pacey is there.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. But he doesn't do much in the show. Like he's there, and it's very novel to have someone who was famous in 1997 or 1998, like in the show, and that Reese Witherspoon and Joshua Jackson, like they were both like teen idols back then, but like it takes place in 1997, and it's like it was very fun for me. I mentioned this last week, but just like picking out all the references to 97 as I was watching was a good time. But overall, the story was pretty good. It was based on a book, and I think Kerry Washington and Reese Witherspoon were both producers on the project, and it addresses class issues, it addresses race issues back in the 90s, and it's pretty good. It's very well acted, and the younger actors too are very good. There's like a bunch of teenagers involved as well. But yeah, I recommend it. I would stick with it. You said you watched one episode, Greg?
Just watched the first episode. I just watched it this weekend. I think I'll keep going.
Yeah. It's a quick watch, and I said this before, but it's not quite like Big Little Lies. It's not quite to that level, but it's still pretty entertaining. I was also watching The Little Hours on Netflix, which I had not even heard of, or like it didn't even ping on my radar, but I saw the cast and I was like, I guess I'm gonna watch this because it's got like
Alison Brie,
Aubrey Plaza, Alison Brie, John C.
wow.
Reilly, Kate McCucci, Molly Shannon, and Dave Franco. And,
Is it a comedy? I've never even
It's a
heard
comedy.
of this.
Yeah, right? Me neither. I just randomly picked it out on Netflix, and it's a comedy based like on the Decameron, so it's like in the 14th century, and it's not true to medieval times at all. Like it's just a comedy with these with these personalities. Like Fred Armisen and Nick Offerman show up, and they're just doing like SNL bit parts.
Oh my
and
God.
It's very entertaining. But it's about the lives of nuns in a convent, and then Dave Franco is a man on the run, and he's being punished for adultery, but he hides at the convent, and he poses as a deaf-mute gardener, and then all the nuns are like kind of like tempted by him, and so
jeez,
it's very campy and very ridiculous. But I would recommend it if you like all those actors. It starts off pretty strong, and then it doesn't like quite grab me by the end, but it's very funny. But if you enjoy the people in that cast, I think you'd find it pretty funny. All right, the next segment is This Just In, where we talk about the top stories of the week. The first story that we have today is that Taika Waititi will direct and co-write a new Star Wars movie. So Taika will helm a Star Wars film following his work on The Mandalorian, and this will be a theatrical release, not just a Disney Plus original film. Reactions, guys. What do you think of a Taika Star Wars?
Cool, I guess. I don't know.
I feel exactly the same way.
Any Star Wars directed news, I'm like, all right, it's okay.
Like, I'll believe it when I see it. Like, I'm not going to get excited about anything until, like, what is even happening with these movies? I don't know.
I think it will happen because he's currently working on The Mandalorian, so I think there's that connection there. So he's already in, and he's already doing the work, so it's just kind of like a transition
Taika,
off of that.
He was attached to Akira at one point. That's never going to happen. Even though I'm glad they moved on from Akira, but now going back to Star Wars from Akira, come on, just I'd rather have them do what we do in the Shadow sequels or something at this point.
Just give him time to finish Thor: Love and Thunder. I just want to watch Thor: Love and Thunder. Just make sure that happens, and then we can talk about Star Wars.
We don't have to worry about that.
Yeah, I feel like Marvel has it on lock. Everyone else is in chaos, but they've mostly got it down.
Yeah, pretty much. I'm excited about this because I really enjoyed his season finale of The Mandalorian, so I think it'll be fun. I think it'll be funny. I think it'll bring humor back in a way that is needed, and I'm not really sure where it's gonna go. Like, there's nothing really announced about it, but it should be fun.
There's a lot of chefs in that kitchen, so just hold your any hopes and dreams at a minimum for any Star Wars project at the moment.
Yeah, but I'm sure he'll at least put his style on it, which is all I can ask for.
He will try.
Yes. All right, the next story is the Tiger King TV series casts Nicolas Cage as Joe Exotic. So we've got Variety reporting that Cage will play Joe in an 8-episode TV series, and the showrunner will be Dan Lagana, who worked on American Vandal, which was pretty funny, and the show will be live in the Lion's Den with Joe, exploring how he became Joe Exotic and how he lost himself to a character of his own creation. I'm kind of down for this. I mean, I feel like this is completely unnecessary, but I would love to see Nicolas Cage just chewing the scenery in this role.
I feel like it's the right amount of cursed. Like, it's deeply cursed. But at the same time, it's like kind of cursed in the right way, I guess. I don't know. I'm excited to see it.
I'm down. Yeah. There's going to be more controversy just from this damn movie alone. I feel like it's going to end up just like his Superman film for Nic Cage. We're going to have so many stories just from this damn movie. Joe Exotic's going to break out of jail. He's going to try to get on that set. It's going to be, I already know it. This is the drunken version of The Room. This is going to turn into that. I know it, and I can't wait. It's going to be.
Oh my goodness.
Just wait. Just wait.
I think that they found the perfect actor for this, and I hope he just ad-libs the crap out of it. I'm just really excited to see where this goes, but I hope no animals are harmed in the making of this.
I hope they go into the wild or whatever that movie was with Harrison Ford, where they had the Andy Serkis dude in the as a dog. I want that for lions. Just a guy crawling, just CGI all the animals and just guys in suits just walking around on all four. I'm down.
That
but
would
don't
be so
use
funny.
any
I mean,
lions.
Netflix has money. Netflix has the money to do that, and that would actually be even funnier. I would love to see some making of footage where it's just a guy in a suit and he's pretending to be a tiger
covered
with
in
Nicolas Cage.
Balls.
Cage. Oh God, this is gonna financially ruin me. Oh, I can't wait.
He's fine. All right, and then the last story of today is the Twilight Zone Season 2 cast and episode titles. We've got all of them now. This is from Deadline. We had some previously released, and now we've got all 10. And so, there are 10 episodes for the second season. There's a newly announced slate of actors, so I'm just going to go through some of these because they're pretty fun. So we've got Joel McHale for one. We've another one called A Small Town. It's got Damon Wayans Jr. and David Krumholtz. There's a Topher Grace episode, so he's just he's on this beat now. He's been doing Black Mirror, now he's doing Twilight Zone.
Cool.
Then we have Gretchen Mol for another episode called You Might Also Like. We have an episode called Downtime with Morena Baccarin. Ethan Embry, a name I have not heard in a very long time, is back for The Who of You with Billy Porter, so that'll be fun. Chris Maloney, I know you're a fan.
Yeah, I love him. Oh, I'm so excited. I can't
wait to watch Chris Maloney. He's so great. I love him in everything, but especially when he's doing comedy. But I assume this is going to be more comedy horror.
Probably.
Because Jenna Elfman's also in it. So we'll see. And then Jimmy Simpson and Gillian Jacobs, I think, is a really cool team up for Meet in the Middle. So, Greg, you've been covering Twilight Zone for us. What do you think of this cast of actors or
It's a good
for
cast.
season 2.
I mean, you look at the cast and go, "Yep, that seems like a cast I would I would see for Twilight Zone, the second season." I mean, I'm a little upset there aren't any returning cast members from the last season, other than probably. I'm guessing that Jordan Peele will make an appearance, other than just the narrator, like he did in the final. Without giving any spoilers away, he may return in some capacity from whatever that storyline they had going throughout the entire season. That might return, but I'm curious to see if they actually bring back not only veterans from last season for the reboot, they should bring back old veterans. Like, I want to see Shatner come back now. I understand why they didn't do it the first season, but now it would be cool to see Shatner and a few other guys come back. We'll see.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Cast looks great. It's coming out this summer, apparently. Around the same time, Jordan Peele is going to have another show on HBO come out, the Lovecraft.
Lovecraft Country.
Yeah, so we'll see how that goes. If we got to start breaking down shows later on this year, but I'm excited.
Yeah, you've got some work this summer, Greg. Get ready. The next segment is You Should Be Watching, and this week we're saying you should be watching The X-Files. But before we jump into our favorite episodes and cameos, let's first answer the question, why should you rewatch The X-Files? Meg, why are you rewatching The X-Files?
So, I mean, there are so many good reasons, just because it's such a fun show and, like, such a, like, foundational text for sci-fi TV. But I think the best one is that there, like, literally is no better on-screen, like, chemistry, I think, in any sci-fi show other than David Duchovny and Gillian Anderson. Like, you just can't.
Yeah, they're kind of the template for that formula,
right? Like, you just there is no better combo. They're perfect, and they're perfect from day one. Like, they don't have a bad episode, that is like, every time I rewatch this show, it always kind of takes me by surprise a little bit because I forget, and then going through it, it's just like they hit the ground running, and it never stops being perfect.
I agree.
The best.
Greg, why is it one of your favorite shows?
Oh, it holds up. It still holds up. Even any of the animatronics they've used in the past, I can still watch these episodes with joy. We're going to talk about a bunch of episodes, but I mean, there's not really one I can go, yeesh, this didn't age well, and turn it off. Like a few other shows out there. But, I mean, just the writing, even you can yell at Chris Carter for some episodes, but I mean, come on, the guy, he's a damn genius when it comes to this show. I love it.
He's consistent, for sure. All right, so let's jump into the best episodes. So this is tough. There's many seasons of this show, but there's definitely kind of like a list of like 15 episodes that people generally agree on when they do these lists. So let's pick our favorites and what we think are the best.
Of course.
So Meg, you're up first.
Oh, man. So, I mean, I think the best episode of, like, one of, if not the only perfect episode of TV in my mind, is Jose Chung's From Outer Space.
That's like super meta, right?
It's
That's
just
really meta
perfect.
Episode.
It's so funny, and it's so good. And like, we'll talk about the cameos in it in a second, but oh my god, it just, I remember seeing this as a kid and like being like, what the hell is happening? Then later I had to like Google it because I couldn't figure out like why it had happened or what was like context or anything. And it stuck with me so hard that I think it's one of those, it stays with you. It's perfect. It's a fantastic episode of TV, even outside of just the genre. It's so funny and so good. And
Monster of the Week.
Exactly. Yeah.
We're going to be saying that a lot, by the way.
Yeah, I think I read somewhere that they were saying that they felt like they couldn't get away with this episode in earlier seasons. Like they kind of had to prove themselves, and then like season 3, they're just like, here you go.
Oh my god, it just worked out so well. And then my other like big favorite episodes are probably the other ones that people are always going to talk about. It's Bad Blood, which is the same kind of like template, like genre breaking template with the like Rashomon style vampire story.
That episode is always I've been to a few conventions, X-Files panels, and Bad Blood, and of course we'll talk about in a second, Home too, are the two that always pop up when Gillian and David Duchovny are there. It's insane.
Home is my other one of my top 3 episodes. Home is the third one. But if I had to pick one that's like kind of flying under the radar, I would say The Field Where I Died, which is like a one that people never talk about, but I really like it just because I like stories about reincarnation, and I think that episode ends on such a weird note that it just like, if you think about it too hard, it like starts to put the rest of the series in a different context, and I think that's really interesting.
For sure. So you mentioned Home. Greg, I know that's on your list too, so why didn't you talk about that episode?
Well, Home, I know you're going to have to bleep this out. Home scared the out of me as a kid, like everyone else. Oh, so they just straight up walk in their house and they murder them. Okay, cool. And then that's how you start off the episode. And then you find out it's just a family of inbred monsters who have lived here for generations. And the whole
Very Texas Chainsaw.
the lore, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre background, I loved all of it from beginning to end. And again, it's just because of David Duchovny and Gillian Anderson's performances here are just great. How they're batting off of each other. Like, this can't be real. Yes, it is. Nah. Yes, it is.
I think
it's amazing.
I think it might be the series' only TV MA rating, that episode, and also Fox never re-aired it. So that's just goes to show how messed up it was.
That song too, you can never forget that. I think to myself, it's wonderful, wonderful.
Just the car, that shot of the back of the car as they're driving off is so good.
For sure. What else you got on your list, Greg?
Oh, okay. With that one, we also have to go with the Mary Shelley's Frankenstein callback episode, Prometheus, or is it postmodern Prometheus?
Black and white one?
Yep, shot in black and white. And I would have put it on the list too for like cameos, favorite cameos, but it's not really Cher or I think Roseanne. They're not in that episode. Yeah, it's not really them, so I left it out of it. But it's just so damn good, well written again. Chris Carter's amazing. He even got a DGA nomination for this episode. I mean, come on, this show was at its peak, I think, at this point, where they were getting recognized for everything. Emmys were all on the board, and this really showed that they know what they're doing, and they're going to be around for a long time. And they're still around. This episode itself, you can go like, yeah, this show's still around because, well, they're really good at their jobs. Everyone sticks around, and as long as they can get the two mains back, they'll always continue to be X-Files episodes, as we've seen the last, 2 years ago when they finally stopped again. And they'll be they'll come back again if they can do movies. I would be down with movies from this point going forward, but
I
we'll see.
think with the amount of planning you have to do around those stars and everyone that's involved, like movies would make more sense at this point than doing more of a TV series. So I have to give credit to Squeeze because it's the first one that really hooked me and showed me what this show is and scared the crap out of me and gave me one of the creepiest and most memorable characters of the series with Toombs, who still scares me to this day. So it might not be overall one of the best because it was so early. It was only the third episode, right? But I think just because it created that character and that character just haunts me to this day and sticks with me. That's probably why it's one of my favorite quote episodes. Favorite in quotes, but one of the episodes that messed me up the most. But it's about Eugene Toombs. He's an immortal creature who eats people's livers, kills them every 30 years, and he squeezes through vents and chimneys and tiny windows. And that's terrifying.
That vent, that shot of the vent, and then you see the eyeballs.
The worst.
Haunts me. And then this one's just a favorite. It's not one of the best episodes, but I really like Small Potatoes from season 4. With the lady who thinks that she got impregnated by Luke Skywalker, and there are 5 babies with tails. I thought that was a really funny, hilarious episode. That's the one I've probably rewatched many times just because I love the humor in it, and I love seeing David Duchovny just show his comedic talent. And that because the guy's a shapeshifter, spoiler alert, but then he gets to pretend to be Mulder, so it's David Duchovny playing off type and flirting, and it's really funny, and there's really fun interactions with Mulder and Scully because of it. But yeah, that's a good one. That's one of my favorites. All right, let's move on to favorite cameos. So Meg, you made a gallery of 49 actors you forgot were on the X-Files. So let's pick some of our favorites. First of all, that took a long time, I'd imagine.
Sure did. Oh my god, X-Files is a show that you the title is not hyperbolic. These are people you literally forget are on the show until suddenly they show up and you're like, oh my god. And many of them are pre-big break, so it's the baby version of all these people you're super familiar with now, which is wild.
I think that's super fun.
Yeah,
to see them in their early stages.
Yeah, basically everyone who's ever been anything in Hollywood was on the X-Files at some point in their careers, which is insane.
That's great. All right, so let's go into some of your favorites. Who have you got?
So I love Kathy Griffin in the episode's called Fight Club, and it's her playing two sets of twins, kind of, but they like can't. Anytime they're in any close proximity to each other, like people start going crazy and like bad things just start happening. Like if I remember correctly, Mulder gets like sucked into a storm drain or something because they like pass each other in the street. And it's that right blend, especially for a comedian like Kathy Griffin, where it's like, it's so over the top, but it's kind of dark, but it's so like campy and weird and fun that it's just perfect. And she's so funny in it. And then I also love Peter Boyle in Clyde Berkman's Final Repose, which is the episode about the serial killer who thinks he's psychic, and Peter Boyle is playing the real psychic, who his whole like deal is that he became psychic because he was so upset when the Big Bopper died that he became like obsessed with like chance. He was so good, and you know, like you can't go wrong with Peter Boyle in anything. So it's just a perfect episode.
For sure. You were mentioning Jose Chung's From Outer Space, and I wanted to mention Alex Trebek was just so random.
Like, with Jesse Ventura.
And Jesse Ventura. Like, imagine a team up of
just keeps going.
Trebek and Ventura. And it's so random, but it's so good. And
showing up as Men in Black.
Wonderful.
God. Like, you didn't see anything.
God.
It was swamp gas.
Yeah. I love that so much. And also, you mentioned Bad Blood, and I just want to say that Luke Wilson was really good in that episode.
So funny. When Mulder's telling his story, and he's got the, like, buck teeth and, like, the stupid accent. Oh, my God.
And then he's just, like, this charming, like, sexy dude.
Yes.
When you hear it from Scully's perspective.
Oh, my God.
It's really good. Yeah. All right, Greg, over to you. Who's on your list?
DPO. For Darren Peter Oswald. It's the Jack Black Giovanni Ribisi episode where it's my favorite episode where Giovanni Ribisi, he's just a kid who has lightning powers and he wreaks havoc on the town before Mulder and Scully can bring him down. Jack Black dies to a filter track. I love this episode.
Yeah, so a lot of cameos, a lot of random people, like Shia LaBeouf was there, Lucy Liu. Like, were there any other surprises for you on that list, Meg?
Oh my God! Like BD Wong was in the
BD Wong
episode
is
with Lucy
everywhere.
Liu.
He is everywhere.
Yeah, he just shows up. Like, it's fine. Like Donald Loge is there. Like, he was in like the second episode, I think. Like, he plays the other FBI agent who's like hanging out with Scully. There's literally so many people. Like I said, like I'm not being hyperbolic at all when I was like, people you forgot. Lucy Liu is in there. Jodie Foster does the voice of the tattoo in the episode about the evil tattoo. Like, she's not even on screen, but she just does. Yeah. So like what is it? Never Again, I think is the episode title. But yeah, like you just, if the chances are, if you're watching the show and you're like, is that so and so?
Yeah.
It is. It just is. Like, that's just what it happened. Like, that's just how Hollywood worked in the 90s. Everyone showed up at the X-Files.
All right, that's it for this episode of You Should Be Watching. Thank you for joining us, and if you have any questions, comments, or requests for things that we should recommend, send us an email. That's ysbw@gamespot.com. That's ysbw@gamespot.com. We're also on Spotify, Google Play, Apple Podcasts, and Stitcher if you'd like to listen to this very podcast on any of those podcast services. Meg and Greg, what are you working on this week? Meg, let's start with you.
So I've got a little bit of breaking down to do about the Westworld finale. It just ended on Sunday, so we'll be talking a little bit about that. And then also some content. I don't know if you saw the news last week, but Hellraiser is getting an HBO series, which I personally am so excited about. So I'm going to be doing some like nostalgia type things about the Hellraiser franchise, which has never done anything wrong. There's never been a bad Hellraiser movie in existence. So look forward to that. Hellraiser fans, rise up. It's our time.
Go Cenobites. Greg, what are you working on?
I agree with that sentiment on Hellraiser, but I'm also working on the Twilight Zone for just the classic episodes of the Twilight Zone, looking at how they predicted the future and becoming depressed while reading these. So have fun with this list when I'm done with it.
All right, and you can find us on Twitter. I'm at Chastity_V. Meg, where can they find you?
I will be at Rusty Polished on Twitter and basically everywhere else.
Cool. And Greg?
I'm at Greg Spot Thomas.
All right, well, thank you guys for joining me, and thank you for listening or watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.